Thanks for joining us here on RT today. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill have been alerted by the media to the worrying trend of so-called online rehoming for adopted children. Now, the term describes transactions between foster parents who want to get rid of the kids they regret adopting to strangers who can't or won't adopt through legal channels. RT's Marina Portnaya now investigating what turns out to be a thriving practice.
Animal owners may be familiar with the term private rehoming. Typically, it refers to those seeking to give their pet away. But today, the practice is reportedly being used by parents looking to give away the child they adopted from overseas and no longer want. An investigation conducted by Reuters found that this type of child trafficking is happening largely in cyberspace, where parents allegedly advertise their unwanted children through Yahoo and Facebook groups. The lawless atmosphere allows internationally adopted orphans to be passed on to strangers without government scrutiny or even a paper trail. As a result, many of these children can end up in the custody of criminals, sex offenders, or abusive adults that would have never been allowed to legally adopt. According to the Reuters investigation, many of the children advertised online for private rehoming ranged between the ages of 6 to 14 and had been adopted from abroad, including from countries such as Russia, China, Ethiopia, and Ukraine. Some of the kids don't even speak English. Experts say in this expanding underground market of foreign orphans, innocent kids are being treated like cattle, given away without any legal oversight.
It poses huge risks, right? Because some of the families into which these children rehomed are probably perfectly good and the children are doing better, perhaps, and some of them are not. So the risk is that it's not being done right. The risk is that the child is not entering a better situation. And certainly as a legal matter, again, whether that child is yours biologically or yours by adoption, however that child got into your family, we want legal processes in place so that the rights of those children are protected.
The lack of oversight and protection of foreign orphans adopted by U.S. parents has faced ongoing criticism. As of this year, U.S. citizens are banned from adopting Russian orphans. Since 1990, 19 Russian children have reportedly died at the hands of their American adoptive parents. According to the U.S. State Department, nearly 8,700 orphans were adopted from foreign countries last year. What we don't know is how many of those kids are still living with the American parents that brought them here, and how many have been given away. Reporting from New York, Marina Portnaya, RT.
And while many cases of online rehoming go unnoticed and lead to dire consequences, there are others when human tragedy was narrowly avoided, but only after timely measures were taken. Our correspondent Liz Wild reports on one such story.
Dimitri Stewart was 5 years old when he and his brother were adopted from an orphanage in a small town near Moscow. It would be a rocky road living with his adoptive American parents.
Didn't really feel like I was their kid.
When he was a young teenager, after years of strained relations and after his parents had biological children of their own, the Stewarts decided it was time to find him a new home. And that's when they turned to the internet.
There's a lot of underground groups where people want to get through disruptive adoptions and stuff like that.
Eventually, the internet search led the Stewarts to Megan Exxon. Exxon moderated a website that helped find new homes for children. That's how Dimitri's parents found Nicole Eason. Eason advertised herself as an aspiring mother that ran a homeschool. Dimitri found out that this was far from the truth.
It was just this little tiny shack, basically. And I kind of looked at my dad, I was like, no, you can't be serious.
It was clear that his new home was no homeschool.
There wasn't even a desk there to do homework.
She didn't even make you go to school?
Yeah, she gave me the option to go to school or not. I think they had a biological kid that was taken away from them from the state, so they weren't allowed to have any more kids, and that's why they were doing this underground thing.
The living situation didn't last long. A month after being dropped off, Exxon was shocked to learn more information about who the Easons really were.
Nicole had been married to a man who was a pedophile, and that she could not get a home study due to their finances.
Traditional adoption agencies are becoming a thing of the past.
You both have to have lawyers. You have to do things legally. This is not an easy way to adopt.
These days, private adoptions are far more common. It's unclear how many of them were facilitated on the internet, where it's harder to regulate the transactions between families. After the traumatizing ordeal, Dimitri moved to this group home outside Atlanta. He feels safe with his new guardians in this quaint home in a nice suburban neighborhood. Today, he has words of caution for families turning to the internet to adopt.
You just never know who's gonna be out there looking for kids. I mean, there's sick people out there everywhere.
In Marietta, Georgia, Liz Wall, RT.